I can appreciate that he wants to keep these men fighting. They're good fighters, Arav said. But you must put your foot down. If you want to be a democracy, you don't walk around with Nazi symbols. Embracing the Azov Brigade and Bandera, quote, only feeds Putin's lies that Ukraine is a Nazi country, Zaraf added. It's not a Nazi country. It's a country that glorifies murderous Nazi collaborators, though. I don't know. That distinction seems pretty thin and trivial to me. That I want to see this this distinction he's drawing of the sun to be a little thinner. Embracing the Azov Brigade and Bandera, quote, only feeds Putin lies that Ukraine is a Nazi country, he said. It's not a Nazi country. It's a country that glorifies murderous Nazi collaborators, though. I don't know. That doesn't seem very comforting to me. Oh, don't worry. They're not a Nazi country. They are, though, a country that glorifies Nazi collaborators. Murderous Nazi collaborators, in fact. They're a country that calls as heroes people who walk around with Nazi insignia on their uniforms. Don't worry, though. They're not a Nazi group. They're not a Nazi country. Now, here is that's just the kind of narrative the ADL is determined to avoid. So remember, before the war in Russia, just to give you a sense for how easily manipulated these.
Yeah, we're not funding Nazis, guys. We're just funding people that glorify and murderous Nazi collaborators. You know, people that name streets after murderous Nazi collaborators in Kiev. You know, for those who don't know, that was Glenn Greenwald's show talking about the censorship on Twitter and how these quote unquote anti-hate groups like the Anti-Defamation League are politely suggesting to Elon Musk that he better start censoring Twitter again, or else he'll be labeled an anti-Semite. And Greenwald did his whole show talking about how these groups don't even pretend to be opposed to anti-Semitism. They make excuses for anti-Semitism, and it led up to that particular moment there where, talking about Ukraine, they say, oh, you know, this group, the Azov Battalion, that they'd always called anti-Semitic and murderous for years and years. Now that we need to support them because it's Joe Biden's effort, now they're just, oh yeah, they're not Nazis. They're just people who glorify Nazi collaborators. That's all they are. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Welcome to
starting to censor people, though. Again, I think.
Oh
yeah, that whoever he hired is.
Yeah, and the pressure is insane. I mean, this is real stuff. The ADL is attempting to sabotage their relationship with advertisers. They're trying to financially cripple them. They're trying to slander them. Yeah. Same as with the I think the EU just put out a statement attacking Twitter. Then there was all this fake news about how Elon Musk supposedly cut off Starlink to help the Russians, when in fact there just was no Starlink coverage in this area at all. It's all about sabotaging any free speech platform on the internet, which is why we're live on Twitter, or the platform formerly known as Twitter, and of course on Rumble. And we are actually on YouTube tonight, although you never know when that's going to change. Yeah. But anyway, how's everyone doing? How you doing, Amber? Good to see you again. It's been a little while.
Good to see you. Life's been crazy. Life is crazy, but we're good.
I heard you both got to see Tucker Carlson today.
Yes.
I should have.
It was a good time.
It was good.
It was really fun. Yeah. I even brought the kids out, and they had a good time. It was a lot of fun.
Did you get to meet him?
Yeah, I did. It was really cool. I
awesome.
was fortunate. Yeah, he has such a great energy in person. Like, he just genuinely looks like he cares and feels like he cares and acts like he cares. And that like genuineness, it was really good to see. It was fun.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And then actually,
yeah.
No, shut up. You know, when he says actually all the time, and then he's always like, he'll like talk to himself. They have this conversation, like, shut up, no, just, you know, back and forth.
Yeah.
Talk about speech today too, and how they just don't want us to speak, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is all about.
That's true. Yeah.
And for anyone who didn't see it or who couldn't go or whatever, it's if you go to the Midwesterner.
Yeah, here, I got it pulled up right here.
On Facebook and Twitter, they recorded the whole thing, so you can watch it. It's about 70 minutes, I think.
Oh, it was really good.
Really good, yeah. And he was talking the same message we've been saying. We got to organize, right? His two main theme was organize and speak the truth.
Yeah.
Calmly and slowly and fearlessly. That's what he said. It was awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it on the screen because it's kind of hard to see in the corner there, but that's the link to the Midwesterner on Twitter. Looks like it's th_Midwesterner is their Twitter handle, and I'm sure if you go to their Twitter page, you can find this post where the entire Tucker speech is here, 1 hour and 19 minutes. So there you go. I'm so sorry I couldn't make it. Although, Patty and me got to see Victor Davis Hanson earlier this week.
Yeah, what are we
got to meet him very, very, very briefly, and it's awkward meeting conservative celebrities because you can't just be like, well, in Michigan we're somebodies. We've got a web TV show and we have an organization. They're like, whatever. I'm on Fox. I guess Tucker doesn't say that anymore, but my show gets 20 million views or something like that on average. So
VDH was awesome. He spoke about California and kind of the history and how they ended up where they're at and how that is spreading throughout the country because the three most powerful things are out of San Francisco, right? So he talked about Silicon Valley, and then what were the other two? They have all the university system they have, and one more.
Yeah, UCLA and
like Newsom, Pelosi, Kamala, like all of them are, it's just kind of Silicon Valley, big tech. Yeah. I don't know. It was hopefully we can get a video of that one too, where they were recording it. We just got to get our hands on it. But
yeah, there was definitely someone filming it, but who knows if that's going to be available. I hope it will be.
Yeah, we don't know. But it was really good.
Yeah.
They do such a nice job there. If anyone you get a chance to go to an event at Hillsdale, they do a great job. They have great food.
Yeah.
And it's top notch. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to meet a guy. Well, I might have met him in the past, but when I worked for Gary Glenn, his big fight was with the utility monopolies, and it was all about electric choice. And there was this guy from Hillsdale who he cited extensively about how wherever there's been competition and choice in electricity, rates go down, quality goes up. And of course, the monopolies are saying the exact opposite in Lansing. But the guy that wrote the study, Gary Wolfram, he's a professor at Hillsdale. I got to meet him, and apparently a friend of we have a mutual friend in common, so maybe we'll get him on the show sometime.
Yeah,
but. By and large, though, I mean, the people at Hillsdale, the thing that's so frustrating is they have this whole academic department that's all about political science and history. And as far as I can tell, nothing about like practical, firsthand, real world politics that we need right now in this moment. There's like nothing like that in any college at all. And you wish they had some kind of program like that, but I don't know. I don't know how they would start that. But
I don't even think people in politics have a right pulse on what's going on. So it'd be hard to teach something that we don't even have a pulse on sometimes, I feel.
Yeah. But I mean, like my rule of thumb when I worked in Lansing, when it comes to hiring people, is having a poli-sci degree is a minus. I don't want anyone that's gone through that system. I want people that either know how to communicate or have technical skills. And that's about it. But yeah. So cool. Lots of fun events this week. And I know we've got some events coming up. I've got my Washington County Hog Roast coming up this Sunday. Looking forward to that. Just
maybe you'll come down for something. That'd be fun. Or over, down, over.
You're kind of over and we're kind of over and down from you. But yeah, we're having a hog roast this Sunday. It's a thing that Campaign for Liberty in Michigan used to do every year. It's like Tony DeMott's favorite event. So I'm kind of in tribute to him, making it the hog roast theme, and it's just gonna be a laid back time.
Available. That'd be
awesome. Fun. Come to the hog roast. It's gonna be in Saline. The place the person that's hosting it is an old like day oneer from like Ron Paul 2007. My friend Sal, who I've known for like 15 years now. He's got his just gorgeous backyard decked out with a big barn and a bar and tables and a TV and sound system and everything. It's like the nicest backyard you've ever seen. So I'm looking forward to having a party at his place. But yeah, what else has been going on this week? Oh, we had a fundraiser last, what was it? Tuesday. I can't believe last Monday was Labor Day. Can you believe how fast this time has gone by?
Crazy.
But the telethon for the Michigan electors happened, and they raised. Why is this not? There it is. Almost $140,000, which I know they wanted a lot more, but that's still pretty dang impressive.
That's
Well,
pretty
and
good.
that doesn't take into account, the phone calls and the pledges and
Yeah.
the checks. I mean, they probably raised over two just with the pledges and the phone calls, and I know people were making phone calls. So it was very inspiring. I think
Yeah.
some of the stories and some of the people that were on, it was great.
Robert Barnes
Yeah.
gave him a shout out tonight. He told people to support him.
Oh, good. Yeah. I mean, the sad fact is that $138,000 is not a lot of money when it comes to lawyers, because no amount of money in the world is enough.
Unfortunately, it would be if they all used one lawyer, but we
Well,
can
I think a lot of
go
them
on
are.
to that. No, they're not.
I heard like one is using a public defender, but then the others are kind of sharing counsel. That may change, or that might be for the civil suit or something. I don't know. But at any rate, that's still a whole lot better than before when they didn't have $138,000.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, it was really well. I mean, money is the worst thing that Republicans have going for them right now, and I honestly keep thinking, how can we get money? That's constantly what's going through my mind, and unfortunately, the Dems have done a really great job of demoralizing Americans, and people don't want to hedge their bets on Republicans anymore. So we have to make it a sexy thing to hedge your bets on Republicans. So
Amber, you just muted yourself.
I did, because Matt just came and wanted to interject himself and myself. This is why I don't come on half the time. It's because I'm not supported in my house. Podcast between Matt and my kids. Thanks.
Well, anyway,
we're going into the business community though. Like, even these businesses, we have to make it sexy to support Republicans.
yeah. I think the pitch for us is support your local GOP, because that's what we have.
Well, but no businesses want to. No. Going back into the day, people would go to the Realtors Association and all those corporate. They'd go to DTE and they would go and they'd ask for donations, and they don't donate to Republicans anymore because the Dems have done such a great job at hedging their bets that they don't need to donate to Republicans. So let's make it reverse, flip it and reverse it. But nobody's doing that. Nobody wants to have the conversations with DTE. Nobody wants to go to Comcast.
Well, I wouldn't want to have a conversation with DTE or Comcast because they're the enemy. But I'll tell you, one group I just had a contact with that was interesting. There is a bill in the House and Senate that just got introduced a few weeks ago that will expand the bottle deposit law to everything else: water, wine, liquor, juice. And I was talking to my local my local convenience store, and when I told them there's bills now since that, they were furious when they heard about this. People don't realize, I mean, it's a complete pain in the ass for everybody, the bottle deposit law, but it's a terrible pain in the ass for all of these convenience store owners. And there's a lot of them all over Michigan who, I mean, when I told them, they're like, we might not be able to accept deposits anymore. We're not going to be able to accept deposits on water bottles. That's insane. But those are
flip it around and ask for a donation.
Yep.
Say, hey, donate so I can stop it. It's hard to ask for money, but that's one thing we need to do.
Yeah, let me pull this bill up on the screen so you can see. This is where's my web page here? You go to Operation Watchdog here. Click the link, and then it is, let's see, view bills, and it is bill number 4904. There's a Senate bill too. And here it is. Oh, that's right. The Michigan legislature's website's broken right now. I forgot about that. Well, ordinarily, this would take you to the official text of the bill. Hey, Jamie Green says, I'm working on a bill that will get rid of the bottle deposit. There is so much more to this. It's a constitutional amendment, so it won't go anywhere. All right, let me get this stupid broken Michigan legislature website off of the screen there. Well, Is Jamie? Let us know. Is the bottle deposit law in the state constitution? I wasn't aware of that. I don't think it is. But yeah, I mean, this is another one of these rackets that goes on in Lansing. When I worked for Rep Riley, we actually toured the facility where they take all the bottles, the Chupan factory, which I think is in White Lake. And it's insane when you see how much work goes into cleaning and sorting and dismantling plastic bottles, because you can't just throw them in an incinerator and melt it down. You have to. Jamie says it was a referendum in the 80s. Well, that sucks. But yeah, the amount of energy that it's actually terrible for the environment. For everything except for metal, recycling is a horrible, horrible thing for the environment. It's a complete scam. And yeah, it's atrocious, and Democrats want to expand it. And
I don't think recycling is atrocious.
Yeah, recycling is terrible for the environment. Yeah,
I don't think that should be the narrative.
Why not? Recycling is terrible for the environment. It's true. I hate that our people can't somehow articulate these things. Recycling is bad. Recycling is terrible. You should throw your trash away.
You have a whole society that's brainwashed, so you have to unbrainwash them, but you can't tell them that they're brainwashed and say that they can't do something and that it's bad. You have to put it into a nice little package bow with a fucking ribbon on it and say, here you go, and make them think that it's their idea.
Didn't Tucker Carlson say, speak the truth?
You have to get these people. Recycling is bad, but you have to spin it in a way that people think that, oh, it's their idea, and they're thinking that it's bad. Like, this is why we lose. Our messaging sucks. You can't just say recycling's bad, because people have been programmed for the past 40 years to say it's not bad.
Too confusing, too extreme.
I don't think it's confusing at all. You say it takes a ton of energy and destroys and burns all kinds of fuel.
It was a joke, Adam.
Adam does not get my jokes, I tell you. It's like,
that's why I'm here for you, Patty. I'm here because you said, come on, because we need to gang up on Adam.
Oh, I didn't say gang up, but I said
I know, but it's just that way. Sorry, Adam. Go on. Recycling is bad, but we have to make it better.
The bottle deposit was introduced to keep the neighborhoods clean and to limit landfills. Wrong. The bottle deposit was introduced because that's how the left operates. They make up environmental hoaxes all the time. They did this with the spotted owl. They do this with global warming. It's all the same old thing. But, that's...
I guess I need to understand more about it. Like, what do you mean? Why is it bad? Is it like because the overall energy, whatever you put into it to get it done, doesn't offset? Is it
how much work and energy do you think it takes to return glass to the manufacturer? How much work and energy does it take to separate every single plastic bottle into its component parts and then melt it all down or whatever once they get into this single form of plastic? The amount of energy and work that goes into it is absolutely astronomical.
We should just burn everything. Burn it all down.
Burn it all down. Jason Aldean, burning it down. Anybody go to Jason Aldean Friday? I did not.
No, I didn't go.
I totally forgot what I did on Friday. Like, that's how crazy my days have been. So if I jump off, it's because I mentally just can't do this. But I do agree that we have to say stuff like what you just said, Adam, is it offsets the work to offset recycling doesn't make sense. That's what you say.
I would say, because stinking beer bottles in your house make your house stink and it's gross. I don't know.
We should just all stop drinking pop and beer.
I'm not being serious about that, although it's true.
We should just all stop drinking pop and beer and anything in aluminum cans and just drink water. Think of how much your body would love you.
Well, with the new law, that would still be a deposit. I mean, imagine now you're $4 for 40 bottles of water at Costco.
You have a reusable bottle. You don't have to...
There you go. That's what they really want you to do.
I want to use your bottle. I want to hear about the Richmond beer tent from the ladies on the chat. I haven't been to a good beer tent in a long time, so.
The Richmond
I've never
beer
been to a good beer tent.
You've never been to a beer tent for the best. I don't know what you're talking about.
I've been to beer tents. I've never been to a good one.
Oh, I have.
Anyway.
Yeah, obviously. I have some really good memories. Some good beer tents. Like Oktoberfest in Frankenmuth, best beer tent ever.
Okay, that was probably a good one. Anyway, where were we?
I will, Jamie, because Marysville has just gone downhill. Like, Marysville days used to be awesome, and it's not anymore. So I got to go to Richmond or Armada, and then St. Mary's and St. Clair doesn't do theirs anymore. And anyway, it's terrible.
Yeah. So what else?
That's true, Jay.
I was gonna.
Jay speaks the truth.
We got some other wacko bills that have come out recently. Who knows how far any of them are going to go, but there are some new ones. Thought we'd mention these. There is a Senate Bill 463, introduced by Darren Camilleri.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
He's in our area.
Want to guess what he wants to do? He wants to make it mandatory. He wants to make it mandatory that you have to apply for federal student loans to graduate high school.
Oh, I saw that. He's the one who sponsored that?
Yeah, this is an actual bill. Yep, Senate Bill 463. To graduate high school, you need to apply for federal student loans. Now, the goal obviously is to get people dependent on the federal government and to get people into debt early. Yeah, Jamie says, don't even get me started on this one. Yeah. Silly. But, and I would show you the bill if the legislature's website was working, but trust me, that's what it says. Is a condition of getting your high school diploma to apply for federal student loans. Because obviously the only way to make money in this world is to go to college, right? Go get a 4-year degree. Oh. And then mine was a big
thing I ever did was didn't go to college.
Worst thing I ever did was go to college. So there's that. What else do we have here?
College.
You had to go to college for your degree, Patty. I mean, I get that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going in engineering, yeah. Other than that, just
but because you have no choice. It's a license. Well, I don't know if engineering is, but like if you're a doctor, it's a licensed profession. You have to, but that's a separate problem. That's also a problem. There shouldn't be that rule, but that's the way it is.
Well,
yeah. Richard on Facebook says no college building trades paid me well. Yeah, I just remembered I need to keep an eye on my Rumble chat and see.
Speaking of trades, well, different trades, but we got a deadline looming in the UAW.
That's going to be very interesting. That's going to be a huge opportunity for us, I think, to make some headway on some of those auto lines. I'm looking forward to that. So please go on strike so we can actually talk to your auto workers. Thank you.
Nice.
They probably, I mean, I don't know. It's not looking good. And then they're probably, what I'm hearing, they're going to strike all three. They've never, I don't know if they've ever done that where they've striked all three at the same time.
It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah. And I don't think they're going to make up
for Japan.
I'm sorry, what?
It'll be very good for Japan.
Oh.
Anyway,
they'll just pack up our plants and move to Mexico. I bet you they already have them built anyway. I bet you $20. I mean,
that's what's largely happened in Michigan is they've moved their plants everywhere else. They've moved into Mexico and South Carolina and right to work states.
It takes like 3 years. It takes a long time to build a plant.
I mean, I'm sure, but how do we know that they don't already have them already stationed? You don't know that.
Yeah, we do. We know.
Oh, you do? I mean, you might. I'm saying hypothetically in the world, Patty.
All right. Deb Ellen on Rumble says there is a guy at Hillsdale teaching a class downtown on how to get involved in politics. Great guy named Rutan. He goes to the GOP group at Sozo Church. So there you go. There is somebody in Hillsdale teaching politics. We're teaching politics.
Where? Downtown Hillsdale? Does Hillsdale have a downtown?
Hardly, but I assume that's what she
means.
Is
that what it means? I don't know. I mean, we just went straight to college. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, what else is going on? Oh, some more bills. There is new bills in the House and Senate to deprive you of your gun rights for 8 years for a misdemeanor. House Bill 4945 and 471. If you're convicted of misdemeanor domestic violence, then you lose your gun rights for 8 years, which, I mean, there's misdemeanors that can cost you your CPL, but I've never heard of a firearm ban on a misdemeanor. So if that happens, there may be a lawsuit in the coming, but we'll see.
Yeah, go plow forward, and then we got to sue them to get our rights back, quote unquote. Like, it's silly. Nice downtown. Okay, cool. I'll check it out next time I go. Thank you. The governor of New Mexico, she's like, I'm just gonna suspend it.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lawsuit for sure.
They should why can't they just arrest her? They should just arrest her.
Well, I mean, this is by the Democrats' standards, they should, but we shouldn't lower ourselves to that. That was something Victor Davis Hanson was talking about too. That we don't want to. It's dangerous that and there are a lot of these prominent Republicans now.
He didn't say we shouldn't do it. He just said we don't do it. I think he said the one time we did it was when When did they do it? You did give an example. I forgot now. I'm sorry, but
I think it is dangerous because you're talking about arresting people for something being unconstitutional. I mean, that's exactly the standard of evidence they're using against Trump right now. Say, oh, you did something illegal. Oh, it hasn't been proven in a court of law. There hasn't been any judicial opinion about that. Well, we'll just throw you in jail anyway.
Yeah, but this one's she wants to violate civil liberties in the Second Amendment. That doesn't need to be proven. That's what she said it.
Yeah, but but it does need to be proven because you can't just say it. It has to. I mean, people are just saying that Trump committed an insurrection, even though he didn't, because he wasn't convicted of anything.
Yeah.
That's
did you see our press release about that?
Which ones? The Wayne Six did one?
Wayne Six did a press release about it, yeah.
I don't believe I have. Do you have it someplace I can see it?
On our Twitter.
Oh, what's your Twitter?
Wayne Six CDRC.
How's that going? Good. That good, huh? So good.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I think I've got it here. This one right here.
Yep.
Here, let me try to make this. That's not bigger. That's bigger. Okay, it's not letting me make it any bigger, but here we go. Citizens of Plymouth and Canton, Michigan, call on the Plymouth clerk and Canton clerk to disavow remarks made by Benson. Such actions will be unlawful, unjust, and unprecedented. Yeah.
That's for removing Trump from the ballot. Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. What makes, if she can do this, what's to stop her from removing anybody else she doesn't like? Democrats taunt. Yeah. I mean, good. Awesome. Excellent.
Yeah.
I like it. I would scroll down so people can, here, let me just do this. So at least if you're watching it on stream, you might be able to replay the video and pause it and zoom in to read the whole
thing. Or they
thing.
can just go to Twitter and find it.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yes. Twitter.com/ Wayne 6 CDRC. There you go. What else do we have this week on bills? Lots of abortion bills. I mentioned this in my email blast. Taxpayer funding of abortion, insurance mandates to fund abortion, health coverage mandates to cover abortion, and codifying Prop 3, including the right of children to be sexually mutilated. That's House Bill 4949. And what else do we have here? Those are the worst of them. Oh, there's a bill in the House now, 4960, to prohibit employers from conducting criminal background checks on applicants. Because why would any employer care if their employee is a criminal, has a criminal history? Yeah, you just gotta roll your eyes. It's insane. This is where these people are. Yeah. But I mean, the number one problem is voters don't know what Democrats are doing because the fake news won't tell them. And if people aren't organized, knocking on doors, they're not going to know. So this is why we're giving you guys this information. Put it on a flyer, make something with it, and get that information out there, folks.
You know what's really good is going to parks and then having your kids hand out flyers. My kids did that this week, and they were amazing. And they just accepted. Even today at the Tucker event, I had my kids handing out the Matt Walsh event flyer, and they just were like, "Oh, thank you so much."
Yeah,
that's what we need to do. We need to have little kids passing out flyers.
Yeah, when you do parades, get as many kids as you can because they'll hand stuff out and people will take it every time. Mm-hmm. Mark Ashley Price says, "I'm scared of my re-election bid for Highland Park School because of what they do to me, the same way they did Trump. Plus, being a Trump supporter in Highland Park is very unpopular. Could even admit them a Trump supporter in Highland Park." Yeah. Well, politics is a contact sport, folks, and we still have to do it. I mean, think of what people went through in the civil rights era. The civil rights era, they had to face down beatings, lynchings, jailings, and they fought through it. That's what you have to do. You can't let them terrorize you into not participating in politics because that's what they want you to do. And you have to.
I think when we have conversations too with people and we actually expose the Democrats' agenda, people feel really stupid for going along with it. At least in my instances. So yeah.
And I think that's what we want to talk about for the main topic of the show tonight too, is these Trump suits, and most recently this effort to get him off the ballot, which is not going to work. I can't even see a liberal court going along with this crackpot legal theory that with no conviction, In fact, an acquittal, if you count the impeachment, that they can just disqualify somebody because they say so. Oh, I say I say you committed an insurrection, therefore you're off the ballot. That is legally ludicrous. And it's so obvious for anyone looking at this stuff how insane this all is. That it's all very obvious, desperate in every attempt to.
I would love it. I would love it. It would be the biggest write-in campaign in the world. And I feel like the Democrats couldn't cheat if everybody wrote in the name Trump.
No, that's not going to work.
I think it would, though. Do you know how Duggan won in Detroit? Is because the most illiterate city in the country, or one of them, wrote in Michael Duggan for mayor.
Well, but they didn't write him in. Political operatives wrote his name in. That's a different thing. No, people don't. Have you ever been to a Detroit election before? I'll tell you, I've worked a Detroit election. They can't read. They have people that just saying. They have people that tell them what to fill in. They all were told write Mike Duggan, and they had a picture they could copy off of. That's the way they vote in Detroit.
So why don't we do that for Trump in Detroit?
You could. Well, you certainly should, but a write-in is a handicap.
Everyone's too busy. Everybody wants to do stakeouts at the ballot drop boxes. They're too busy trying to solve the crime.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's insane. People will do anything other than be effective. Anything other than to be effective.
Hey, Dwayne.
Let's see who else.
That's why I'm so exhausted. I feel like I'm just everywhere trying to be everything for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted just seeing your post of how many events.
I can't believe I'm still awake right now.
What do you have coming up, Amber?
I don't even know.
We're kind of just going. We're just kind of switching off the. Go ahead.
Oh, this week.
Yeah.
I have campaign school training. Scott Greenlee is going to be an OCRP on Saturday. I have, me personally, I'm doing a canvassing walk day tomorrow in Madison Heights. I'm doing a canvassing walk day tutorial in Berkeley on Tuesday. I'm doing a Southline Area Republican Club on Wednesday, a back to school event. Thursday, I think I have free, but I think I scheduled something that night. And then Friday, Friday I'm free.
Cool. And then Sunday you got the Washtenaw County Hog Roast.
And I actually really will come down for that. I'm excited.
Awesome.
If you go, I'll go.
There you go. Let's go.
Okay.
Awesome. See you there. What else we got? Oh, I should put the Hog Roast link on the video too.
But the most important event coming up is on October 6th. We have Matt Walsh coming to the Marriott Center Points, and we already have leftist extremists calling the Center Point saying, we're going to let you know we're going to have 300 people there, and we're going to peacefully protest, but we're going to be there. And they forwarded it to us. They're like, hey, just letting you know, just making sure you have security for this. But they're threatening this venue so they cancel it.
Right.
Like, it's insane. But thank goodness the Marriott's great. They're standing strong. And it's going to be a really great night. Dinner and a movie with Matt Walsh, Q&A. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we did a screening of What Is a Woman, and it was awesome.
I've never seen it yet. I have not seen it yet.
You still haven't seen it? Oh, it's incredible.
I'm really excited. What's the dinner? What are you serving? And how much?
It's $100 for a general ticket. $200 if you want to sit up front and ask them a question. There are sponsorship opportunities. There are student and veteran discounts where they're $80 a ticket there. This is going to be the first event where, like, I'm actually, because there's a lot of costs behind this one, actually. So I'm kind of nervous. But yeah, so it'll be good. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, Matt Walsh.
Oh, dinner!
Awesome.
I have no idea what the dinner is. I should probably know that. Probably chicken. Probably some amazing chicken. And I don't know though.
Amazing chicken.
And it's oaklandgop.org. Is that where people are?
Oaklandgop.net in Plymouth, but
oaklandgop.org.
.org. Okay, that's where people go to.
Yes, oaklandgop.org. The ticket link went live last Thursday-ish. If you get our emails, let us know. I'm switching email platforms right now, so
I just got my first one from Vance. I never got them before, but now I got one from Vance Friday, I think.
Did you? That well, that was me, but yeah,
Well, that's what
I put it from Vance because I
And
put it from Vance because I feel like people would have opened it more if it came from Vance. That proved it.
No, I never got anything from Oakland County at all, I think.
Interesting.
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. No, I get
What
the
is the woman?
email from Patterson.
OaklandGOP.org.
I'm assuming it's your list, but yeah. For Mary,
And-
what's her first name? Mary Ann?
Mary Margaret Patterson.
Mary
Oh,
Margaret.
and that's a whole nother different dynamic to Oakland right now. I really want to help Mary get across the finish line. You know, Oakland is so I don't want to say polarized. That was the wrong word, but that was the word that came to mind. Oakland is so fragile that we really have to just hyper focus on candidates the whole 14 months and not have primary challenges. So I just think Mary is just a really great candidate to get behind. So
Right on. Mark Kerniel says 18 UAW leaders went indicted, 14 went to prison. It did not evoke the RICO Act, but they're trying to invoke it against Trump. Think about that. Yeah. Yep. Also, Hog Roast, Washtenaw County GOP, WashtenaWRepublicans.org. And actually, I should put that on the front page, but it's on the calendar.
Ooh, nice. A
homepage
calendar.
Yep.
So controlling.
Yep. So there you
I need
go.
a better calendar.
You guys don't have a calendar on your website? I'm sure you do.
Not a good one like yours.
Oh.
I'm so envious of your stuff sometimes.
Right on.
Nation builder.
I know.
Yep. All right.
I'm switching platforms.
Should we talk about some of these cases? Because that's kind of what the stream title was. We should probably talk about them at some point.
Okay, I think I'm gonna jump off for the cases then. But you guys are awesome. I will try to be on. Okay. So what's going on with the Rescue Michigan? If the pig roast is next Sunday, are we gonna all do it live?
We might. Well,
live together.
Well, the party ends at 8.
Well, we could probably still make it work, but we'll see. We'll figure it out.
That would be fun to do it like in the same room.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be funny. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see about doing that next week.
That'd be fun. All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Oh, the other thing I was going to talk about, but we should get to the cases. But the other thing I was going to talk about was that Ann Coulter exchange with Trump. But that's okay.
Well, we do it now because the camper doesn't like Ann Coulter. I think I got that impression. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
We'll save that for the end. We should get to the show topic at some point, or people are going to be like, I thought they were going to talk about some court cases. So there was an absolute smackdown.
Oh,
this week in the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, and I've got the case pulled up here. Let me bring it up on screen here. Hold on one moment. Sorry, this is taking so long. Here we go. This is the Fifth Circuit opinion. This is the case where the federal district court Judge Doty says, I'm going to enjoin all of the federal government from almost any interaction with any social media platform because of the extent to which they engaged in the most massive censorship campaign in American history. And the government appealed to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals to appeal. This is what's called the temporary restraining order against the government. So you can't do any of this until this case, and until we decide on this case, you are immediately stopped from doing what you're doing because that's how serious this is. The government appealed so that they could resume censoring on the internet. And this is the decision that came back just a couple days ago. So the suit was brought by the state of Missouri, joined by the state of Louisiana, and then other people signed on. I don't know everybody on this list of plaintiffs, but certainly Martin Koldorf and Jay Bhattacharya. Those are prominent doctors. Jim Hoft is the editor-in-chief of the GatewayPundit.com and suing. This is a very long et al. At the end here, but it's basically the entire Biden administration, which they didn't bother listing all of them. They list Biden and Becerra and Anthony Fauci. So
rodent.
Here's what this panel of 3 judges wrote. And this is, I'm not going to read the whole thing because this is a 74-page document, but just to look at some of these highlights here. The allegations that numerous federal officials coerce social media platforms into censoring certain social media content in violation of the First Amendment. We agree as to some of those officials. So they say part of the restraining order got taken off for people that they couldn't prove right in the allegations were directly involved. But by and large, the opinion of the district court still stands. So he says the government, the social media net platforms gave officials access to an expedited reporting system, downgraded or removed flagged posts and deplatformed users, changed their internal policies to capture more flagged content, sent steady reports of their moderation activities to federal officials. This went on through the COVID pandemic, the 2022 elections, and continues to this day. Enter this lawsuit. 3 doctors, a news website, and healthcare activists in 2 states posted stories removed or downgraded by the platforms, and including, by the way, the Hunter Biden laptop story. And this goes on. And you see, the critical thing is when you're proving government censorship, it doesn't mean the government orders you to stop doing something. Pressuring is enough. So that's some of these passages highlighted. Close cooperation and the ministerial ecosystem. We take the White House and Surgeon General's office together. Officials from both offices were communicating, and they use this language here. The White House pressed these platforms. The platform stepped up efforts to appease the officials. And they pressed the platforms to change their moderation policies. The platforms yielded, is the word the circuit court used. And they removed flagged content that did not run afoul of their policies. And the platforms often boosted officials' activities at their request at the expense of everybody else's. The platforms ran it with total compliance. They capitulated, the order says. The platforms began taking down content and deplatforming users they had not previously targeted because of the government's interference. For example, Facebook started removing information posted by the Disinfo Dozen, a group of influencers identified as problematic by the White House. This goes on. CDC officials provided direct guidance to the platforms on the application of the platform's internal policies into moderation activities. CDC's guidance informed, if not directly, affected the platform's moderation decisions. Anyway, this goes on and on and on. Half the time, they took down whatever the FBI told them to. And this goes on for a while. Individual plaintiffs have shown past injury in fact. That's important because that gives them standing. And here's the important part. The Supreme Court has recognized the chilling of individual plaintiffs' exercise of their First Amendment rights is itself a constitutionally sufficient injury. Yes, when the government's actions prevent you from speaking, like, I don't know, like maybe taking to court, charging you with seditious conspiracy for telling people to peacefully protest. Isn't that chilling your right to contest an election? Kind of that same thing?
Yeah, Tucker talked about that too. Like, why do they hate Trump so much? Just because
he's Trump.
Because he speaks. Yeah. Because they don't know what he's going to say. Yeah.
Yeah. To confer standing, the allegations have to be a fear that's not imaginary or wholly speculative, which of course they were not. Everyone knows these people were censored. And the individual plaintiffs have shown a substantial risk that the injuries they suffered in the past will reoccur. Mark asks, no, that's not. Fred said, are we seeing competent authority ruling against the government? Yeah, that is. So because these people are still active on social media, they continue to face
them, right? They can rule against them, but how will they actually make them stop?
Yeah, this is all.
That's the problem, right? Remember with Whitmer, when the court ruled against her, she's like, I don't care what the Supreme Court said. She went ahead and did whatever she wanted anyway.
Well, I mean, they would have to pursue a contempt of court ruling, which they could.
And then what?
Well, I mean, at that point, you start locking up federal officials for contempt of court.
I hope so.
Anyway, this goes on. Social media platforms have engaged in censorship of certain viewpoints on key issues. A years-long pressure campaign designed to ensure that the censorship aligned with the government's preferred viewpoints. Social media platform censorship decisions were likely attributable to at least in part the platform's reluctance to risk the adverse legal or regulatory consequences that could result from a refusal to adhere to the government's directives. And that is the Bantam Books case, which I'm sure is referenced in here someplace. Yeah, so the major case on this is Bantam Books v. Sullivan. where a state-created entity called the Rhode Island Commission to Encourage Morality, kind of like the Agency to Combat Disinformation, to stop the distribution of obscene books to kids. And this is not talking about child pornography. We're talking about like obscenity. So it told them what to take off the shelves, and the request conveniently noted that compliance would eliminate the necessity of our recommending prosecution, which is obviously a threat, and that's what the court found. That was censorship. And it still is rare that coercion is so black and white, but this case is so utterly clear, is what the court actually basically says. Again, I'm not going to read the whole rest of this, but you guys could find this. But this is the key paragraph here. I guess skip past it. I didn't. Down near the bottom. It was in my email blast today. But the point is, the court said, yeah, the district court enjoined the government from silencing free speech online, and they were right to, which means that will be in effect throughout the entire pendency of the case, which may take years. They almost always do. And that includes the President of the United States, the White House Press Secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, Counsel of the President, the White House Partnerships Manager, Special Assistant to the President, Administrator of the U.S. Digital Service, OMB, National Climate Advisor, Senior COVID Advisor, Deputy Assistant to the President, Director of Digital Strategy, Director of Strategic Communications on COVID, COVID this, COVID that, COVID this, COVID that, FBI, specifically the following employees: Section Chief, FBI Foreign Influence Task Force, not allowed to talk to Facebook anymore, and Elvis Chan, Supervisory Special Agent of Squad CUI-1.
So they'll just have somebody else do it.
Huh?
They'll just find somebody else to talk to them. They'll still do it.
That's still evading a court order. If they do, there's going to be whistleblowers. So we'll see. So it's worth pointing out, it's extraordinary and unusual for a court to impose an injunction when a case hasn't even been heard yet. But the court's like, this is how clear this is and how serious it is. So it's a huge indication that the district court's going to go our way. Mm-hmm. And the fact that the appeals court upheld the preliminary injunction, aka temporary restraining order, means that this is a serious case that's going places for sure. So that's a great victory. There's some other cases we're looking at. I guess we already mentioned the case to keep Trump off the ballot. I said last week, I will say again, I think this case is going to be embarrassing. If this case goes to the U.S. Supreme Court, I think it's going to be at least 8-0. I can't say for sure about Ketanji Brown Jackson, but I think it's going to be at least 8-1. And I'm not even sure we'll survive at the lower court levels, even like the Michigan State Supreme Court, if for some reason the suit's brought in Michigan and not federally, because the case is just so laughably weak. Say, oh yeah, we can just accuse you of sedition. Who has the authority to do that? Oh, nobody. There's been no legal decision, nothing like that. Some other cases. Peter Navarro was convicted in Washington, D.C.
Congress?
Contempt of Congress, yeah. Although it doesn't matter what the charge is anyway, because in Washington, D.C., they'll convict any of it. They'll convict anybody for anything if they're Trump supporters.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be appealed for sure. So who knows how long that will take, but I think the most egregious thing is that the courts in DC refuse to recognize the fact that the DC jury pool is hopelessly corrupt.
Yeah.
And anytime they poll them, they say, like, they'll vote to convict, the majority will vote to convict before they've even heard the case, let alone giving them the presumption of innocence.
And then the other thing is too, like, the punishment is the process.
Yeah.
Right? The punishment is the process. Like, money and time and lawyers and this and that. I mean, it bankrupts people, or they just give up, or some people, the J6 people, how many have committed suicide? Like, it's terrible. But that even if they know they're not going to win the case, they don't care, because they just know that putting you through that will ruin you.
Yeah. Well,
they're sadistic. They're sick.
And again, this is what This is what a civil rights movement has to go through.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reality. When you're facing an oppressor, they are violent. They have the power to attack people, and we just have to carry forward, and it's just another burden. But I mean, and there should be federal lawsuits over this because of the amount of harm it's done. So we'll see. You know, I can't speak to the quality of Trump's legal counsel and doing stuff like that, but we'll see where they go. Skiing Egg on Rumble says Twitter kicks me off every 6 months. I'm on my 4th account now. It's hard to restore my followings each time. Deleted my Facebook and Instagram accounts. Also kicked off of LinkedIn. Well, welcome to Rumble. Skiing. I think that's Skiing G is what I think that is. Hopefully you can do better there, which is also why we always encourage people, if you're watching on YouTube, switch to Rumble. Switch to Rumble. Stop supporting evil. Support the good guys. What other cases we got? Ken Paxton's impeachment trials happening in Texas. We'll see. There was a story I saw today about it.
Eastman too.
Yeah, the John Eastman case is another one. The Ken Paxton trial. Let me see if I can find this article.
Barnes had a good talk on that tonight too.
Oh, did he? What do you say?
Yeah, well, it's just through the course of that trial or whatever it is, hearing, I don't know, that
are we talking about Ken Paxton? We're talking about
I'm sorry, Eastman. And they it's revealing a lot of the stuff in 2020.
Yeah. It's amazing when you see how the fake news covers these, because you can tell what's really going on by what they're not saying. Like, here's an example. This is a story from the fake news on the Ken Paxton trial. And this is from MSN, Austin American Statesman. The takeaways from today are, first thing is the lawyer's tan. This is the big story here. Tony Busby lays low. Look at how tan he looks.
Oh God.
And so there's all this talking about.
Wait, they didn't call him orange?
He's orange. That's the big story, is he is orange. And the other big story is he didn't make objections. His co-counsel made objections. Busby was quiet in the Senate chamber, but did continue his crusade against what he views as bias in the media about his Instagram post of doctoring his tan. But they say right here, his co-counsel made the objections. Like, that's not even an unusual thing in a trial for one lawyer to be in charge of the one that makes the objections.
Oh,
so when they have this complete gibberish nonsense. Oh, there's the other thing. The defendant wasn't at his, well, it's an impeachment hearing. He doesn't have to be. Trump wasn't at his impeachment hearings either. So why would he be? He's nothing to gain by that. So when the big takeaways from the news are complete gibberish nonsense, you know there's no case. And I think likewise it's the same thing with what was that other one? The John Eastman trial. Let me see if I can find this Eastman story I saw. I saw a fake news story about John Eastman today in the fake news. And again, this is your typical example of how the fake news operates. This is from Huffington Post, republished by Yahoo News, which is just another part of the fake news. John Eastman's lawyer answers the question everybody is asking about his strategy. I don't, I follow politics pretty closely. I don't recall asking any questions about his lawyer's strategy. But the thrust of this article is John Eastman's lawyer went on television. And Eastman went on television. To all those wondering, yes, John Eastman's lawyer knows it's quote unquote, scare quotes, risky for his client to go on TV and blather about ongoing criminal proceedings. I mean, the hatred and editorialization in Yahoo News, I mean, it's Huffington Post, but Yahoo News published it, so they're the publisher. Blather about ongoing, like defending his name. That's what we call blather, is questioning their case. Blather about ongoing criminal proceedings against him, but he hasn't advised him against it because, and the actual quote, the guy's, it's absolutely clear what he's saying. He says, our view is Dr. Eastman, who's an attorney and a law professor, is innocent. He has nothing to hide. He's clearly innocent. He was acting in his capacity as a lawyer and a law professor. All the facts are more or less known. There's not a lot of mystery here. We've made the decision that, although risky though it certainly may be, to be as open as we can with journalists and others asking about the case. In other words, we know our guy's innocent. We know he's an expert and knows what he shouldn't be saying in the media, so we know he can talk to the media.
Mm-hmm.
And Huffington Post / Yahoo decided to spin this into, oh, look at how stupid these people are going on television to make their case.
Mm-hmm.
So here you have the talking head. So it is potentially risky. It's like, yeah, potentially. This is, again, conservatives being direct and answering their questions. I think hopefully that draws to everyone how confident we are in our client's case, how important we think it is, how important John Eastman thinks it is that these facts be presented to the public for their analysis. Yeah, because most of the public doesn't watch the trial, so they want to go on the news to make their case, because that's how you argue in the court of public opinion, is on television. So then Huffington Post just bald-faced declares some of the facts Eastman has presented have been verifiably false. They don't say what, but then they imply that apparently claiming the 2020 election was rife with fraud is verifiably false. So they're just, at this point, just lying.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way the fake news operates. So there you go. Burnham insisted at CNN that Eastman didn't want to impede or obstruct the certification, just impose a short delay, which Collins, the talking head on television, not a legal scholar, noted is, and again, they use the word noted, because when you say someone noted something, that automatically implies it's true, as opposed to Eastman, as opposed to saying, as Collins baldly asserted without evidence, is basically the same thing, which it isn't. So, I mean, a delay and obstruction are completely different things, but the media just lies about it because that's what they do. So when you see the media lying every which way about a case, and also complaining about someone's legal strategy, that tells you they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Because what are they trying to do? They're trying to get you to stop going on TV, and it's apparently not going to work. So anyway.
Oh, speaking of going on TV, did you see who went on Jesse Waters?
RFK Jr.
Kucinich.
Oh, Kucinich, that's right.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the interview.
Yeah. Because I don't know, did DNC change something to make it harder for him? Like he could win the state but not get the delegates or something? I don't know what they did.
It's possible.
But
it's certainly possible.
He hinted at as running as an independent.
Cool. That's awesome.
That's good.
Well, it's better for him to run as a Democrat, in my humble opinion.
Next year's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I would say RFK needs to fight it out until the end. I mean, that's what Ron Paul did. He didn't drop out until they were many primaries behind, until it got to the point where he was completely foreclosed from getting delegates at the national convention. Until then, we fought on as far as we could to get as many delegates as we possibly could. Mm-hmm. And we took all those delegates to the national convention, and then Ron Paul refused to endorse the Republican nominee, and he went on to lose, which is a good thing because those nominees were John McCain and Mitt Romney. So let's hope RFK follows that same strategy. Mm-hmm. I'm rooting for him. What else we got tonight? Nothing too much else. I was going to mention the G20 summit. That was kind of funny. So, yeah, the G20, the group of the 20 biggest economies got together, which in the past has been just totally controlled by the United States. They said months ago they would not sign any joint declaration from the G20 summit unless it condemned Russia for their crimes against Ukraine. And the G20 declaration came out. No statements about anything about Russia and Ukraine, just a general, we need to have peace, and that's about it. So we capitulated. China didn't even go to the G20. And yeah, I've got this pulled up someplace here. But G20 just slides into irrelevance as the BRICS gets bigger and bigger. And India, who was the host of the summit, I don't know if you heard this, India is going to change the name of its country.
What?
India is going to be called Bharat. They're done being called India because that was the name the colonizers gave it, you know? Like you know how we call the American Indians, India comes from Indios, in God, a people in God. India comes from that same kind of thing. Well, India apparently says they're done being called India. Our new name is going to be Bharat, which I don't know what that means, but it's another slap in the face to the West. Another slap in the face.
Oh, Turkey changed their name to Turkey-yay. Turkey-yay.
Yeah. That's so much better because Turkey just sounded silly. Your country is called Turkey. No, it's called Turkey-yay.
Yeah.
But Bharat apparently is going to be the new name of India. So there you go. I don't think I guess they didn't change it before the G20 conference, but yeah, everything else Biden's doing is putting us in the shit house. War in Ukraine still going terribly wrong. Globally, complete disaster every which way. We're pressuring the UAE to get out of BRICS now. That's not going to work. But let's see how that plays out. Biden's going to start putting pressure on the UAE. Mark says, Adam, thoughts on China here in Michigan? Big three, nor the UAW said anything about Goshen and no UAW jobs. Even the UAW was shut out, but China, Goshen. I mean, I think
I didn't understand that last part, but
I didn't quite understand the question, but I mean, just general thoughts on China being here in Michigan. I think we should not be selling our land to China, but I mean, the issue I have with all this China stuff is that it's rhetoric that's being deployed towards a war with China over Taiwan, which if you think the Ukraine war is bad, guess what's going to happen when we go to war with, and this is something that, I mean, they've been talking about, but Alyssa Slotkin ran for Congress. She was asked point blank in the news media, what are you going to do about if we had a conflict with China over Taiwan? Should we send our boots in the ground? And she's like, oh yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it. And here's the thing, like, we're on one end of the world, China's on the other side of the world, and Taiwan's right next to China. So if we have a military conflict with China over Taiwan, it's not going to last very long, and it's not going to go very well for us. So, you know, I'm all for getting China out of our country, but I think the China bashing's a little, it's not helping, because there's this safety valve for people in Washington who see how badly the war in Ukraine is going, but their angle is, well, we don't want to continue the war in Ukraine because we want a war in China, and that's going to be every bit as bad, if not worse. Because if we have a war with China, you're going to see a lot of things disappearing off of store shelves for a very, very, very long time.
yeah, like medicine.
Yeah. Yeah, like computers.
Advil, Tylenol, antibiotics.
Yeah. So, yeah, we need to have an America First foreign policy, which is where we treat everybody the same as allies and partners and respect each other, not try to dominate everybody, because that's just turning everybody in the world against us. And right now, our relations with China are so bad that I think, frankly, the thing we need to do more than anything else is to mind our own business. If that means kicking China out of Michigan, fine. But I'm very skeptical that this rhetoric is going to any kind of good place. So that's my thoughts on that. And gosh, I think that might be all I've got. Oh, should we talk about the Ann Coulter story? What the hell is wrong with Trump? You would think he would be spending every moment of his time focusing on the narrative of, let's save America by electing me to be your next president. But instead, Trump posts on Twitter the other day. Let's see if I can find it. Not Twitter. He posted on Truth Social. By the way, I'm trying to win. Because if he's trying to win, he should be back on Twitter. He has how many followers on Twitter? 89 million, I believe.
His mugshot. I don't think he's.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I checked today. He has posted nothing since his mugshot. So he's made exactly one tweet since 2021. And I get that he has his own Truth Social platform, but Twitter, he has 89 million followers on Twitter. So I would think if he wants to reach people, he would use it. Wouldn't care if it was, not the platform that he owns, like Truth Social. He should be doing everything he can to promote himself in every way possible. Here's my, a second. Why can't I find my own Twitter feed here? Here we go. Let me see if I can find this. So here's what happened. So Trump tweeted out, or, truthed the other day. Trump truthed. It's coming about Ann Coulter. Ann Coulter, the washed up political pundit, who predicted my win in 2016. Oh, she did. Yeah, she was very smart. Prescient. Then went unbearably crazy with her demands and wanting to be a part of everything, to the consternation of all, has gone hostile and angry with every bit of her
Who said
nervous
no,
energy.
like she didn't demand anything. Somebody was defending her.
Of course not. Yeah. Like many others, I didn't want her around. She wasn't worth the trouble. Page 2 in a second. Truth, Trump posted. Has been Ann Coulter is a stone cold loser. And
a loser who predicted his victory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, AJ Delgado said, just FYI, I was a senior advisor on the transition team in 2016. He is lying. Ann Coulter never demanded a role or to be part of anything. Of course she hadn't.
Yeah.
Of course she hadn't. Ann Coulter's been out of politics for, well, she writes and she tweets and she occasionally has TV appearances, and that's about it. She's not someone who.
I don't even have her on anymore.
Well, she's been banned from Fox because she criticized Fox for speaking her mind.
Yeah, there's that speech thing again. That damn speech.
Yeah. But anyway, besides that, so Ann Coulter responded to the tweet. I'm gonna put this on the screen because it's so funny.
Oh God, what'd she say?
Said, Trump begged me to come to Bedminster this week. I said only if I could record a Substack with him. But the gigantic pussy is too afraid of me, so instead he did this.
Oh my God.
Now,
she went to Michigan.
Obviously, yeah, she's from. Well, she's not from Michigan, but she went to Michigan
law school. I don't know if she went for undergrad, but yeah.
And then she worked for Spencer Abraham in the U.S. Senate for a time too. That was her last job in politics before she became an author.
Okay.
But yeah, she's not someone that would ever want to work in a political office. Can you blame her? Well, why would she want to be involved in?
Yeah.
In Trump actually has the audacity to claim. I mean, it's so ridiculous, claiming she wanted to be a part of everything with her demands. Her demands were build the wall. That was the extent of her demands.
Yeah, that's all she said. Yeah, she keep like day 82 of no wall. I think she had a countdown.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, that was her cardinal sin, was holding Trump accountable, which is I've said all along. If you want Trump to be a better candidate, you got to call him out when he does bullshit like this. I mean, that is the way that you make Trump better is to hold him accountable for when he does stupid stuff.
Well, and I thought he should be doing the debates.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he does a lot better when he's out in public and talking to people than he does when
well, you know who said that?
He does when he's just by himself on Truth Social or whatever. Because all he hears from is his sycophants.
Oh, you open it up, it's crazy. You read the replies, like there's not a single reply against anything. It's weird. I don't go on there.
No, it's like if you open the comment section on Huffington Post, all you'll see is people saying, "Oh yeah, Trump's going to be locked up any day now," because it's all sycophants. Exactly. I want to. Here is.
But the who said? Oh, DeVos. What's her name? Oh, Betsy. She was on with Megyn Kelly. Oh, Megyn Kelly's interviewing Trump.
Oh, cool.
This week, maybe. So she interviewed Betsy DeVos. I don't remember when, but she said like during COVID too, like Trump got kind of more and more isolated in the White House. And it was just kind of weird. Like she kind of felt bad for him. His circle became like so small. I mean, you can see it. I was watching. If you look back at the debate against Hillary,
I mean, the thing that's so amazing to me was the way Trump.
I mean, I know he's been through a lot. Like the guy, they're like coming at him with everything they've got, right?
But I mean, it's so bizarre with Trump, and it actually reminded me of when I worked in Congress for this Kerry Bentivolio guy, who was this, an ordinary guy who became a congressman out of the blue, which is that Trump would be loyal to people that hated him and disloyal to his supporters. He hired almost nobody from his supporter base. The ones he did were like Steve Bannon, Jeff Sessions, who he fired unceremoniously. And the people that he hired for the top posts were all the worst people that were totally against him, like Mattis and Tillerson and Jared Kushner. But yeah, actually, here's the article of that. This is one This was, how prescient is this? This was the article Ann Coulter wrote right after Trump won the election in 2016. President Trump's first 100 days. He says, well, that was the easy part. All Trump had to do was vanquish people too stupid to pick up the $1,000 bill lying on the sidewalk, the smug, smirking, out-of-touch establishment drums. Now comes the part Americans have desperately hoped for, a politician keeping his promises. See, for example, Marco Rubio's promise to oppose amnesty if elected, Mitch McConnell's promise to balk Obama's executive amnesty if Republicans were handed a Senate majority, Jeb Bush, John Kasich, and Ted Cruz's promise to support the 2016 presidential nominee. Anyone else remember Read My Lips? So with the self-assurance of everything else they've said wrong about Trump from day one, the media already announcing that he too will betray the American people. I don't think so. To help Mr. Trump keep his promises, I've compiled a detailed schedule for his first 100 days in office. Please note each day is meticulously planned. Build the wall, 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 build the wall.
She's funny.
Build the wall. Day 100, report to the American people about progress of wall. Keep building the wall. Good luck, President Trump.
Yeah.
And of course, what happened? He didn't build the damn wall. And yeah, that is the problem.
Oh, goodness.
I mean, he eventually built parts of it, but it took, remember, Steve Bannon starting a group called We Build the Wall because Trump wasn't building it. And here's another article she wrote just before he actually took office. How Trump could ruin his presidency. And it's not hard. Trump supporters stuck with him through thick and thin because he was hardcore on immigration. So he says, if he breaks a major campaign promise, his supporters will turn him with blind ferocity, dwarfing their rage towards Jeb because Trump's the more exquisite con. He will have duped them and he will never, ever get them back. And unfortunately, for the most part, this wasn't even true. Most Trumpsters should have stuck with him despite all the promises he broke. But Coulter did not. And some people didn't either, because remember, Trump was also all about, he was all about second chance, reforming the criminal justice system, all the stuff the Democrats are doing now. Trump was all about that stuff too.
With Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, all that law and order stuff went out the window. It was all about, it all came from Jared Kushner and Ivanka too. So he says, if Trump doesn't appoint the sort of person capable of fulfilling his campaign promises in immigration, he's going to fail. There'll be no other person to blame in Washington. They just won't get it done. And sure enough, that's kind of what happened. Now, not enough to, I think, cause him to actually lose in 2020. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, Mark Carney, First Step program. Yep, that's right. He also says, Paul Ryan to thank a lot of things not getting done. Yeah, he could have done more. He could have done more with executive orders. This is the thing. Democrats are so good at using every single legal instrument possible. Trump could have done that. You say he doesn't know how? You could have hired Chris Kobach. He didn't hire Chris Kobach. Why? Because he didn't care that much. So there you go. All right. All this just to say, help Trump be better, guys. And that means just not being a blind follower of his. Like, for the sake of our country, he kind of has to win because of all this lawfare going against him. But yeah, criticism is important too. So on that note, I don't think we got much else for this week, do we? That's a big show we just did. See you at the Hog Roast, guys. Go to WashingtonRepublicans.org. Sign up for the Hog Roast next Sunday. We'll have a nice chat in person, and an in-person show. Yeah, an in-person show perhaps. And October 6th, we have Matt Walsh coming to Oakland County. So be sure to go to oaklandgop.org and get your tickets. So, all right, guys. I think that's all we have for this week. Thanks, as always, for all you for liberty, and see you next week.